Hi, she's Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is Our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. And we're on episode 151 today. We had to take a break last week because I didn't get much done, and then
I was going through some testing.
And then I didn't get much done again this week. But you know, I've come to terms with the fact that my hobby cycle always just slows down around this time of the year. And I think it's just because my body knows I'm about to go into full overdrive when Christmas hits, and it's like, take a minute, please, for the love of God.
Yep.
For anyone who might just be watching this video in the future, we are just now in the beginning of October and the fall is hit, and where we live in Michigan, it is just very colorful, and it's getting cooler and it's nice, and it's like that perfect feeling of not too hot, not too cold. It's like this really nice
sweater weather.
Sweater weather, which is always so cozy, but yet you still can get stuff done. Pumpkins are out.
Hot chocolate.
Though my dog thinks that the pumpkins are something to knock off my porch, and I keep finding them in the middle of the road.
Oh no.
I had to stop driving because I realized that our big pumpkin was in the middle of the road because the dog had knocked it off the porch.
Oh.
And, you know, she keeps getting caught on so many different things she doesn't understand.
Oh.
So, it is what it is, but it's just one of those, like, my kids don't need to come home from school with their pumpkins smashed. I really don't want that, so I gotta find another place for them.
Yeah.
But yes, all I know is that this time of year is always just so rich in the changing of the season.
Yeah.
It doesn't last very long, but there's almost this feeling of anticipation, I feel. Like, you know, summer lasts a long time, winter lasts a long time, but spring and autumn have that sensation of something's about to happen.
It's more like a transition into the next.
But there's this...
the next season.
And and it's just one of those situations of it feels good, but it's not only that, there's this anticipation of there's stuff coming. It's coming. There's, whether it be just... It's going to be a nice rainy day. It's going to be a nice windy day with the leaves blowing. It's going to be
just that just reminds me of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
It's a blustery day. But actually, right now, it's very sunny and nice out.
But yeah, no, it's just one of those things where it's like you get to anticipate. And it's right before the colder weather comes. So anything that you want to do with a family, you get done right now before all of a sudden it's snowy and you're going to want to stay inside, though your littles are going to be like, put on snow pants, come on, push us in the snow. We want to push you in the snow and bury you.
Oh, life with littles.
But what have you been up to in this really fun season?
I have been making this really sparkly blanket.
And what a surprise.
Yeah. And it's my favorite blanket to make. The one, you know, it's a half double crochet, 10 millimeter hook.
Scrappy blanket.
Two yarns worked together, scrappy. And I did have to go and get some yarn from Joann's, but I didn't have to get too many. I just bought two, and I'm trying to reach for it here.
I'm gonna slightly adjust your drink so that we don't.
Yep, I'm gonna go backwards though.
Okay, I got you.
So I have this folded. It is folded
in quarters.
Quarters. Yep. So we're
a fourth of the width right here.
So we have the pinks and with the teal, and then and one of them is a plain solid and the other one has sparkle in it. So then we're just going through and we have all this gorgeous pinks pinks and grays, and then this blue. The blue sparkle is one of them that I bought, and I got done with that, and this yellow down here is another one that I just bought. So those are big twists from Joann's. And once I am done with, and when I'm done with this little bit of white that is still attached to the yellow, I will be working red into it, which is
such a beautiful red.
Mainstay. So I have
It's almost like an apple red.
that color. These two will be worked together. And when I'm done with these yarns, these two, whatever one ends first is ending the blanket. Because right now, as it stands, I measured it last night from the floor, it's about right here. I would rather have it be up over my head, that way people can have it draping over their feet and still up to their necks and still get a good snuggle out of it. So that's where I'm at right now, and I'm going to finish that. I do have something that I'm going to make. It's another blanket, but it's a special. Well, it might not be a blanket. I'm not sure. I'm going to work on a mosaic. It may be just a table runner. I have worked on mosaics before in the past. It's been a long time, so I'm going to have to familiarize my brain to the process. I do have I did watch a couple of videos to help me think through the process, and I wrote down a couple of quick notes, and so I have that. I have my design. I went through and I found a design and I put it on graph paper, and it's something kind of exciting. Even my husband was looking at it and like, oh wow, you're gonna do that in crochet? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but it's gonna be really pretty when you're done. So I'm kind of excited.
Definitely get some sparkle in that.
Yeah.
We could get some like holographic thread that you can crochet along with whatever you're working on.
True. Yeah.
That way you don't have to buy special yarn. You can just add to it.
Right. So you work this with two separate colors, but it's each row is a single color. And then anything that you're trying to overlay, you have to go down 2 rows to the same color and hook it in.
Pull it up.
And and deal with that. So so basically every row is a different color. I mean, is a separate color. And so you tie off at the ends, and it has fringe.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
You have a start and a finish fringe. And so in order to hide the fringe, if you wanted to take all of them out and, make sure that they all get weaved in, that's an awful lot of things that you have to do.
Right, it would be better suited.
You have a way. There is a way that you can crochet on top and crochet on bottom of those, and just attach or whip stitch them together, and it hides all those fringes.
Oh, look at you.
So I still have to decide whether it's actually going to be as big as a blanket, which I'm not sure, or just a table runner, or maybe a pillow, something. We're going to figure this out.
Well, I guess it depends on how you want to do it, because I'm already thinking of different ways you could apply that pattern to. We'll talk in private.
Yeah.
We'll talk outside the camera, because
So it's still being decided, but this is something that I would love for you to come along on a journey with. It's going to take me some time to get it done, and it's going to be so beautiful when it's done. And I'm really looking forward to having the finished compilation done with this new technique. And it's not going to be boring, and it's not going to, I love what I'm doing right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's so familiar. I can do it when I'm doing TV and everything. This will probably be more, not so much TV time as I'm alone without my husband. He's at work, maybe doing it during that time, and then doing a regular project at night while we're watching TV.
Yeah, pairing
having two projects going or something, because
it's having that comfort project in the evening that your fingers almost work on their own compared to this being much more, I have to be focused.
Yeah, you have to be able to read the pattern, and if you get off on even one stitch, it'll mess up the project. So you really have to be very conscious of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, what do you have to show?
Okay, so I'm in this really. I feel like anyone who's watched our videos long enough know that I specifically go into phases of hardcore working on my yarn projects non-stop for endless amounts of time to almost like R&R reprieves where I have to take a rest, because my mom has a very good method of always pacing herself well, and I tend to almost hyperfixate on my crafts, and then there's this aspect of my body needs to decompress and then reanimate itself almost,
or let your hands rest too.
Yeah, so I'm in the stage of reading right now. It's just the cozy season, wanted to get under a blanket and just chill, and I've been doing that. I've also just been trying to think through the fact of what are the things I need to finish that are in my unfinished projects right now, or just whips that just never got completed. How can I clean up my craft room where I could actually have a good workspace? I want to start my crafting business. What's the name going to be? There's a lot of different things that, like, at this very specific, like, my kids are in school. I have so much more time than I don't usually have free. And there's this aspect of what can I accomplish right now? Because just sitting on the couch and just focusing on a project is going to take me away from being able to maybe maximize my ability to do what I want to do to its fullest.
Yeah.
And so
get all the little things done, and then you can work on the big things.
Yeah, so I'm kind of lining those things up right now. But the one thing I would like to share that I did get done, and another thing, there's two things I want to share. One is I did do a leather project 2 weeks ago. It's not fully finished because I feel like it does have that unfinished edge to it. But I have a Nissan Murano, and it has one of these keys where it's mostly remote, but on the back you can access a regular key to open the door. This thing, it by design is supposed to attach itself where it doesn't just pull out, but the attachment that is right here is very loose and weak, and so the key falls out quite a bit. And the key is attached to where you're supposed to put the like keychain thing.
Yeah. You would lose it.
The circle. And I don't know how many times we've had these two separated because of it being attached to a keychain and it being this, but it requires this. This is an emergency. Get into the car if this isn't working. But this is what's required to, if the car does not recognize the key, the remote is in there, you have to put this into the ignition, the whole entire remote into the ignition to turn on the car if it does not register the thing. So so if I want to drive the car, I still require this.
Yep.
Not just this. So I made a little pouch. Like I said, I want to finish this edge with kind of how I top stitched and did like it's almost like a, I don't know what it's called. I did a stitch along the edge. It's like an edge stitch. And I want to finish it off, but I actually used a snap button. I actually got a kit to be able to do that. To be able to create snap button closures.
Yeah.
And this thing is like a little pouch that perfectly fits my key, so that when I have it in my purse, I know it's not going to get disassembled.
It's not going to separate.
Yeah, it's not going to separate. It's not going to disassemble on a keychain or anything. I actually plan to make it a keychain off of this.
Oh, yeah.
Pouch. And I just made it just for mine. Nothing special, but it's one of those things where it's like, it has alleviated so much extra stress for me and my husband, knowing that this thing's not going to disassemble.
Yeah.
Because we have found it disassembled in our pockets. We have found it disassembled. And granted, they both were together, but it's one of those like, this gives us so much more peace of mind, and we really enjoy it. But I want to finish it off, and I want to kind of make it so that if we do want to put it on a keychain, it's just now in the pouch. It's still accessible. We're still able to get to it. It's not like it's so tight in here where we can't reach and pull it out, but we don't have to worry that's going to separate. So that's currently the thing I got, kind of like a useful thing, but I will show you it when it's fully finished, because that way, but you can see how it turns out. But besides that, I want to share with you something from my dollar store. It's a Dollar Tree. I had a friend that used to work there for quite a while, and so I am fond of their prices and going to get to see them. And I recently got a purse that I genuinely enjoy. It fits exactly what I need it to fit, but my wallet, for its size, I didn't want a big purse. But I wanted something that perfectly fit this, which I got. It's like this little long. It can be made into a short or long strap, but I made a long one, so it's like a crossbody bag. It perfectly fits this, just perfect size. But I've come to terms with the fact that anything else in my bag kind of creates an issue at the bottom of the bag, because then I can't just fit this in there because there's stuff layering at the bottom. So I was able at my local Dollar Tree pick up this, which actually matches the kind of like the pattern of my wallet. This checkered. It's a makeup bag, but it was $1.25. It's canvased on the inside, not just plastic, because this is more of like a plastic canvas. This is like a cotton canvas on the inside. It perfectly helps put the extra things I need in my bag in a vertical fashion, and I can slip it in, and I have more ability to optimize my bag, and it's perfect for what I need.
And you're gonna know where things are now.
Yes, but they had different types. They had these where they had like, it was almost like a fake fur, and when you unzip them, it kind of has like this nice plastic vinyl in it. It doesn't feel like horrible, but like they're meant for makeup, so they do have that ability to knock it out, be able to wash them, sort of cosmetic thing, because you don't, if it explodes inside the bag, you can still wipe it out, wash it out. You can still do that. But these pouches, like, they're just cute, and this one's like a navy. I got one that is a maroon. And I got this one for my mom because it's like a bubblegum pink. There also is one that's the same color as this like deep forest green as my bag, but I didn't end up, this looks lighter in the light, but it's a little bit darker. Mm-hmm. But they had one in that color, and I almost picked it up too, but I just find these pouches, we've talked about the Hobby Lobby canvas bag before, but any little pouch, I'm telling you, $1.25, this thing could be a lifesaver. It could be an emergency sewing kit. It could be, I just don't want to lose something from my project bag. It could be, I don't want my crochet hook to fall at the bottom of my bag. This could just be just for stitch markers. It does not have to be full.
Or crochet hooks.
It does not have to be full. You could just use this portion of it, and it has already served its purpose, because in your bag, you know where they are when you pull this thing out.
Yep.
there's a security about having these little pouches, and they're meant for makeup because you don't want your makeup either destroying your inside your purse, or you just want to be able to pull that section of your supplies out of your bag so that you can use it instantly.
Yeah.
There's just an aspect of the simplicity of these bags, especially for crafters or even just a person with children who they like to pick up a whole bunch of stuff and they want it. They want something to put them in. I have children that their fascination with things that are in the miniature are huge, especially my son. And I'm actually considering making or buying a pouch, like coin purse, that's on the outside of my purse, just so that when he finds rocks or acorns or things that he wants to collect, he can run up to my bag and put it in there so it's not getting in my purse, just for him to do that. Because the reality is that just having, I could give him this, but he's not going to have these everywhere. He was going to want something that's probably more permanently attached to something as a personal choice on my end. I know some moms might not like that, but I gave my daughter one of these and she's like, oh, thank you. She thought it was so awesome. But these, I don't know. It felt like in the near future, when I'm organizing my office space, these might be good staple pieces just for like either sewing kits, emergency sets. It could just hold embroidery stuff. It could hold some of my safety eye kits. It could it could be me separating out some of my smaller projects, finished projects to sell. I don't know. But all I know is that when I pull this out, it looks nice. Anyone who is going to see this be pulled out is going to think something nice is in it. Yeah. If I already presented to someone. It could even be another idea. You got a gift for somebody. I have come to terms with the fact that I, as someone who has received gifts this way, and in the future have always given gifts this way, the practicality of giving a gift in a container that is in itself practical.
They can use again.
I find that at baby showers, bridal showers, even anything where it's even birthday gifts for children, I know the excitement of the bag for the kids, the gift bags or the wrapping is amazing. But I even saw a family that even for Christmas, they don't wrap their gifts in paper. They wrap it in fabric. And every year they fold the fabric back up and they store it, because every year what they do is they get that out, and it's like yards and yards of fabric that have been cut in different lengths and different dimensions. And then the family members get so many of that for each family member, so they know how many gifts they're able to buy for each family member. And they use that to identify who they've got the gift for, and they can tie it like a sack. They can pin it to make it look like it's a proper box when they can do fabric bows, because they don't want to waste, and they know that the person knows that that pattern of fabric is for them.
Yeah.
For me, these could be good gifts. A little gift bag for, you want to get your, you can do a $1.25 bag like this. But if your friend likes really expensive nail polish, you could buy the expensive nail polish but have a bag that could be put in that's just $1.25 but still looks nice.
Or like snacks.
It could be a snack bag. I found that those canvas bags from the Hobby Lobby worked as great snack bags for my kids when they were younger in our diaper bag, because the diaper bag, everything would just kind of slowly sink to the bottom again. Yeah. And there was this aspect of, if I had it in some sort of a pouch so I could pull it out, and it's not just that plastic bag because I bought it and I just shoved it in the bag. There was an aspect of, I pulled it out and I could have wrote their name on that canvas and thrown it at them. This could be the same thing where it's like, here Caniel, here's yours, here's yours. I know that it's just one of those, like, just because they're labeled as
cosmetic bags,
there's flexibility because you give them their purpose. And I think the more that we start visualizing problem solving in that way, the more that I've seen pill bottles and seen it be a little trinket thing for my kids that want those little dividers. The more, and granted, any genuine pills and pill things that are in the cabinet, or those are dad's, those are mom's, you don't touch them. Those are already decided, but I'm talking like one that we don't need. Can rub off a little alcohol, the names of the week, or you can just put stickers on it to redecorate it, and then all of a sudden it's the most amazing thing you've given your kid, because now they can put their little buttons and trinkets and shopkins and whatever.
Every kid loves that.
They just like the little miniature stuff, and I think there's just a value to repurposing and thinking outside the box. And I saw a scientist, he's one of my favorites, that was talking about how, in principle, when one of the biggest reasons why he's a huge supporter of math and higher learning math in school, even if you're not going to use it in your everyday life, like you're not going to use every single version of math to problem solve in math equations, things in your life. He's not even arguing that. But he said the part of the brain that is activated when you learn math and then graduate into higher versions of math creates different synapses pathways in your brain to think about how to problem solve.
Okay.
That can be and the more strengthened they are, your brain will use those same synapses for problem solving things even outside of math. If you take time to value the art of problem solving, your brain will use that same parts of your brain to think outside the box when it's a life problem, or the car's broken down, or finances, or this. The more, and he's like, that's part of the reason that I highly suggest it, not just because of my personal field in science, but because it develops a brain built for problem solving.
That's really good.
And I know that this is so simple, but I've never thought of it that way. And the idea of just a simple repurposing a bag. Yeah. Repurposing like a pill bottle container for something else. Repurposing something, and how we crafters like to find something and use it for something else all the time is its own problem solving. It's its own upcycling. It's its own evolution. Yes. And I think that there's something about the whole change can be a good thing. Yeah. That the idea of I appreciate that analogy by that scientist being like, because now for my children it'd be like, this is teaching your brain how to be a problem solver. Yeah. I love that, because then that makes it a good thing. The harder it is, it's like, this is a mystery.
They love that kind of stuff.
And so repurposing it into, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Well, I will never use this again. You will, though. Your brain is developing to be more successful in the future. Right. Even outside of that. Come on, let's think of it that way. And I think that there's that thing of, well, it's just a bag for makeup. No. This could be a gift bag. This could be a this. This could be a that. I know it's not the same caliber, but there's that aspect of, let's hit refresh. Yeah. You give it that purpose.
Thinking outside the box is a good thing.
And so I don't know. I want to inspire, because that's where I'm at right now. It's the getting ready for that season. It's a season of change. It's a season of problem solving. It's a season of let's get ready for the next moment.
Next thing. Yeah. So we have a quote here about fall, autumn, and it says, "Fall has always been my favorite season. The time when everything bursts with its last beauty, as if nature had been saving up all year for the grand finale." And we don't know who said that. It's unknown, but it's still so beautiful. Fall has always been my favorite season. the time when everything bursts with its last beauty, as if nature has been saving up all year for the grand finale. And isn't that the way? I mean, the trees are turning so brilliant, and the leaves are, even when they do come off, they're taking their time to get down to earth because that's their last soar. Their last hurrah. And they get to dance in the wind, and they get to do all the things that they never got to do being stuck to the tree. So it's a beautiful season. But I also think that for a lot of people, it's a season of cozying up, for getting ready for the winter, for bringing those vegetables in from the garden, bringing
harvest,
yes, bringing the last of the flowers in. I did that this weekend. My husband and I cleaned up our yard, got it ready for the winter. Took the bird baths, put the bird bath down, the basin down, so it didn't get frozen, and he mowed everything, and we took everything and put it into the shed so it doesn't get blown away in the wind, and took the trampoline down so that it doesn't get blown across the street or into somebody else's yard, and all those kind of things. Took the swings down so that they're still good in the springtime. They're in the shed. And I brought a plant in that I had bought for my birthday. And I bought it for the two friends that I celebrated with, and I brought it into the house. And it has...
flourishing.
Oh my gosh. I was telling my husband yesterday, I said, I put the dirt in. I said, whatever dirt this is, we need to get this from now on, because I don't know what it is about it, but I put it into the bottom of the pot, put the plant into the top, and it has grown in the last, 4 days.
The purple one?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
In the last 3-4 days that it's been in the house, it wasn't even over the top. It was over the top of the rim. Yeah. It has grown past the rim and is going down to the bottom of the pot already.
It now looks like it's an overflown muffin top.
Yeah. And I'm just like...
so bushy.
I don't know. And maybe it's just being indoors. I was so afraid it was going to get frostbite, or it was not... I was going to get it too late. So I made sure that I didn't, and because it's a very pretty plant. It's called Pink Panther. And that's not the technical name. That's just the name that somebody named it. And I bought it for me and my two friends because we all have May birthdays and we celebrated together. And they both love plants too. And so we all three have these plants, and I'm just like, I got to make sure it doesn't die. So I brought it into the house. My grandmas used to do that. My one grandma was a very thrifty green thumb, and she would bring her plants in for the winter because she didn't want to lose them. And my other grandma wasn't, her plants were hardy for outdoors. So they would come back every spring. But the other one just wanted to bring hers in that, she wanted to save them, So I get that feeling now. All of a sudden it's just like, I got to make sure I get it before it doesn't live anymore. But that's the same as fall, isn't it? Where there's a time to live and then there's a time to die. And that's what all these leaves are doing, is they're actually dying. But they're turning colors and they're being brilliant, and then they're falling off the trees and they're having their last hurrah, and they're dancing in the wind, and they're coming down, but it's all a feeling for us of, okay, now we got to get ready for the next season. We got to get ready, and we got to be sure that when winter hits, we're prepared.
Well, one last thing. We have a maple tree in our front yard.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And a couple months ago, I think after I come home from one of our filmings, one of the branches had fallen, and we don't know what happened. It must have been a weak branch, but it fell. But it was still attached to the tree. And we have a very knowledgeable neighbor who had come and spent some time with me outside and was letting me know. She's like, I can chop that off for you. And I'm like, oh, well, might have to have you do that. And she's like, but it's still alive, right? She said it is. But it's snapped off. And she let me know, she's like, but it's still attached.
Mm-hmm.
She says, it only needs to have a little bit of attachment and it'll still get nutrients. And she was teaching me all about this plant, this tree. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I was fascinated by her knowledge, but the one thing that that ended up happening was that despite the fact that it was still attached and still alive, that branch's leaves being down to the ground, because it had fallen early, it started changing its colors faster than the rest of the tree.
Yeah.
So the tree was still fully green, but that one branch was nothing but this vibrant red. I actually have a photo of it. Where's my phone? My phone's over. Just give me a second. I'm leading up to something. I need my phone. Sorry.
I had noticed that the leaves weren't dying on it, and I was just wondering why, but now I know that it was still attached enough to live. So.
Yeah, no, the lady, she knows so much.
It's nice to have good neighbors.
She's very knowledgeable. Let me find it. I took photos. I have it.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you can see on the top, my tree was fully still green, but that branch that fell, it was so vibrantly red.
So beautiful.
And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because maybe 2 weeks ago, my son, this was a couple weeks ago that I took that photo. My son had a project for school to take a bag and go on a scavenger hunt to find autumn things.
Okay.
To be able to discuss the change of the season. Well, I didn't notice that was in his bag until we were supposed to be getting ready for him to go to school that morning. He was supposed to have all weekend to do it. Well, we took Olivia to the bus stop down the road, and there was an oak tree. I think it was acorn comes from an oak tree, right? There's an oak tree, and he was collecting acorns, putting in the bag. But when we got back to our tree, I was like, Daniel, this branch, it already has all these perfect red leaves. And he's like, and it was exactly at his height, and so he's just stuffing it in his bag, and he's so excited. He's like, and he's just looking up at the green and looking at the red, and he's just like, just so excited because it was just there for him.
Right.
And he had a plentiful amount of whatever he wanted. And I just thought that was so cool. And it just as a whole, fall has always been my favorite season, the time when everything bursts into its last beauty, as if nature had been saving up for all year for the grand finale. And it feels like that's what it's been like in our neck of the woods, with how everything's
the grand finale.
The last thing I want to say though is that I recognize that this time of year is not great for everybody in our United States. Our southern coastline has been getting bombarded with heavy tropical weather, such as the Hurricane Helen, and now we're getting Hurricane. It's the next hurricane right after it's affecting my father-in-law who lives in Florida, and it went from
our cousins who live down there too.
It went from a category 1 to a category 5 very quickly, and I know everyone's been keeping up on that. I'm sure that lives in this, part of the world, but we're thinking of you. We care.
Yes.
We want to see you guys succeed and that your houses don't get severely damaged, but I recognize that we can't stop what's about to happen. Natural disasters are one of those things that you can't stop it.
Right.
And all I know is that whereas we're on this plateau of the season is changing, there's so much force changing that's about to happen down there. And I just want you all to know that we are thinking of you, and
Yes.
we will be
Praying for you.
Yeah. So for anyone who is down there, we are sending blessings your way, every way that we can. And we hope that everyone gets out safe. Please, if your zone is being issued to evacuate, don't ignore that.
Yeah.
It's there is literally nothing that you have to prove in staying behind.
No, yeah. Yeah, get out of there while you have the chance.
Physical stuff holds heart-filled memories, and I am sorry for anyone who might be impacted by what has to be a quick grieving to leave. I can't imagine what this must feel like for so many people who don't know if their homes are going to make it.
Right.
I don't know how I would do it. But I'm sure there's many resources that are out there. Please just don't be negligent. We're on the last stages of being able to evacuate in this part of the country, and I ask that you please be very wise and listen to whoever is instructing you to do the right thing to get out, to be successful and make it through this huge storm. We'll be thinking of you, and we hope that by the time we see you next week, all of you that follow us are safe.
Yes.
And everyone who is in that area makes it out.
Yes.
That was heavy. I'm not trying to end heavy, but I can't ignore the reality that's happening. We're celebrating such a beautiful season when everything down south is going through the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to act like we didn't know that that was happening. We wanted to just let y'all know that we love you, and we hope that everything turns out well. But until next time, where we hope to hear good news.
Yes.
We hope that you are doing well, that you're doing safe, that you're doing everything that you need to do, that you're appreciating this season as every way that you possibly can. Everything is all your projects go well. Everything that you are hoping to see get ready for the season is happening the way that you want, and that you stitch your way
To mental health.